Hello and welcome to Truly Football. I'm your host Sami Tariq, and with me I have Abaan, Fida and Ahsan Mughees. In this video, we're going to discuss the highlights of the tournament so far. As we know, there have been several controversial decisions so far. And let's start from the first match. In the first match, Valencia scored a header, but it was ruled offside later on. In the match where England and Iran were playing, through a set piece, Harry Maguire went to the ground when he was pulled by an Iranian player. The foul was reviewed, but it wasn't given for a penalty. Later on, in the Argentina versus Saudi Arabia match, a similar event happened. In my opinion, it was a softer pull as compared to the one in the England match. But in that event, the penalty was given. So this is the level of officiating so far, and it has created some level of controversy so far. And so let's talk about that with our cohorts.
Yes, I think in the first match, in the Qatar and Ecuador one, I think what caused more controversy was because there wasn't exactly much clarity around the rule. Ever since VAR has been introduced in football, there has been a lot of confusion regarding the whole process. There hasn't been enough explanations from UEFA side or FIFA side. And again, we saw that there wasn't an instant replay about the whole officiating thought process of the referees, and I think that was the reason that it caused a lot of controversy. FIFA, of course, gave their explanation later on, and we all saw that it was justified. It was indeed offside. Of course, the England match, of course, you're saying Harry Maguire was pulled, and I think that should have been a penalty. I think the Messi one was also a penalty, considering the recent rule changes.
Yes, I agree. They were both penalties, but the level of consistency is lacking. If you set a certain set of rules, then it should be clear in all the decisions that are being taken. You cannot give a penalty for one event in one match and then ignore it in another.
Well, for me, I think we have to understand that the referees, they are actually working during the real-time action, so they can miss some actions there. So, yeah, yes, there's a part.
But the technology is there for reviewing it, and if the VAR, the people who can actually see the event again and again, and if they are being inconsistent, why can't you just tell the referee to come look at it in the monitor? That's what it is there for, right?
I think VAR has been a revolutionary, I guess you can say, technology in football. Refereeing decisions have always been a matter of controversy in football, but the thing is, there is inconsistency in VAR decisions, even in the Premier League. Premier League fans cry about only one thing, and it's that VAR isn't at the same level as when you compare it to Spanish League or even the Champions League.
Because VAR was supposed to elevate the level of football, but it's like it has deteriorated the whole level of football that was being played. And this is not just our opinion. Even ex-players and current players, they've come forward, and
Technology is making it more controversial for me.
I think the technology is right, but I think the implementation isn't. There isn't enough consistency when there should.
So let's talk. I wanted to talk about the Valencia goal. So what happened there was that when you get the pass, there should be two players in front of you. So normally the goalkeeper is in the goal, right? And then there's a defender, and you have to be behind the defender when you receive the pass, when the pass is taken. So in that event, when the pass was made, the cross was made, the goalie was trying to save the ball, and Valencia was in between of the last defender and the goalkeeper. So basically, there weren't two players ahead of Valencia, and that's basically why the goal was ruled offside. But coming back to the event that happened in England match, I don't think it really mattered because England run riot. What a great young talent is Bukayo Saka.
Absolutely. I mean, it hurts me, of course. He's an Arsenal player, but what a player he is. I mean, absolutely world class at his age. The way he has,
Even at Arsenal, he has just revolutionized that flank. I don't understand why they signed Willian for that place,
They've sort of, they built their team around him. He's the focal point of their attack.
Yeah, and it is so refreshing to see players like Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, young players who have not proven themselves at a certain level, but the Mikel Arteta gave them the chance to do that, to prove themselves, and they are definitely doing that. Martinelli has been excellent for Arsenal all season long. He has been chipping away on goals. He makes chances. He's always in the box. I just love him. I have had him throughout the season in my fantasy league. Me and Abaan are like neck to neck in that, and I think Martinelli is one constant in our teams from the start of the season. Yeah. So coming back to Bukayo Saka, another English talent, another English young talent that really impressed, and I hope he signs soon for Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is coming to Real Madrid because if Florentino wants someone, he gets it. But Glazers normally don't have that kind of go for the kill situation.
I mean, it depends on the
Well, let's see. Let's wait and watch. But Jude Bellingham, people just see the goal at times. What you have to think about is that when the ball is played, when he sees Luke Shaw making that run, his positioning, the way he positions himself for the goal, the run he takes, beating the defender, making that space for himself for the header, and the angle at which he touches the ball from his head. He could have gone like this. It could have probably gone up because of the elevation, but he went like this and away from the goalkeeper, which wrong-footed him in that moment, and the goal happened. He has scored that same goal earlier this season in UCL as well. So it wasn't a fluke. He knows how to get into.
He's a very technical player. We all know that.
Yeah.
Especially to play for Dortmund. Dortmund are a team that value the youngsters a lot, and he's been phenomenal ever since he's joined Dortmund. He's been starting for them ever since he joined, I think, and it hurts me because we could have signed him for way cheaper from Middlesbrough actually, but he went to Dortmund instead, and he's a world-class player, and I do hope he comes to United one day.
Well, and moving on, a player who has received a lot of criticism in the English media, Raheem Sterling, he also was on the score sheet, and he created a great.
I mean, Sterling is a very different player in the Southgate, for England especially. On club level, he often tries to overdo stuff, I think. But for England, ever since on the Southgate, him and Kane have been the main man.
Yeah.
For England.
And speaking about Kane, he didn't score a goal, but a lot of the chances, the runs that were made, his link-up play in that deep role where he was like falling back, connecting with the midfield, he was creating those chances because the defenders were like he was like a magnet for defenders, and that was creating chances on the flanks.
I mean, I mentioned this in the previous video as well. His hold-up play is so good.
Exactly.
It's just pleasing to watch.
And Luke Shaw with that cross silenced his critics, and Trippier was on point as well
Again, my predictions again. I said Trippier was a player to watch, and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah, and Marcus Rashford came off the bench, scored right away. I think it was like his first or second touch.
I think it was second or third.
He just came on and scored. 50 seconds was all he needed for that beautiful goal, and then he set up Jack Grealish.
He needed that as well, I think, for his morale boost. He's had a lot of criticism last year. Of course, he missed the penalty in the shootout last year in the Euros. But this season, he's found his form again, and I do hope that his form continues and he can reflect it in the second half of the season.
Well, it was a goal made in Manchester.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. I guess English team played exceptionally very well in our department. If you look at the Rashford, he came very late from the bench and he scores a goal in the first 50 seconds, and then he gave an excellent assist to the Grealish. So for me, I guess English squad is very much up for the World Cup here.
That's great. And talking about great matches, what a great match it was between Argentina and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. What an upset! What an upset! No one was expecting it, I think.
No one. And Argentina got a lucky penalty, I would say.
I think it was deserved.
It was deserved, but inconsistent penalty, I would say. And Lionel Messi made no mistakes from the spot, as expected, or not, because his penalty rate, conversion rate has been under criticism. Well, he didn't make a mistake this time around, but They went on to score 3 goals that were ruled offside.
I mean, it wasn't bad decisions. They were offside.
Can you credit that to the line that Saudi Arabia's defense was?
I think it was a very good offside trap actually.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised by how attacking Saudi were playing.
And they were not lying deep.
They were not afraid of Argentina even after conceding the goal. They were pushing high up. They were pressing. They were pressing as a team. It was a well coordinated press, and I think that was what put Argentina under a lot of pressure, especially in the second half.
Saudi Arabia played exceptionally very well in the match. The way they keep pressing the Argentine team was something very special for me. Argentina was attacking him for the first 30 to 40 minutes. Then the body language of their players and the offsides issues. I guess this was the major issue where Argentines fall back, and we can see that the impact of offsides in the start of the second half. The way Saudi Arabia came back from the dressing room was very exceptional.
That's true.
I think where Argentina lacked was a bit in team selection. I think Julian Alvarez should have started, and of course maybe it's national bias, but I think Lisandro Martinez should have started in defense as well. I think Otamendi and Romero were a bit one-dimensional at times, and I think it limited them. Lisandro Martinez's ball-playing ability is elite. I think it's one of the best.
What he lacks in stature, he makes up for his skills. And but they were missing out on some key players. For example, Dybala was missing. He had some injury issues, and I think that's why the coach saved him, didn't play him.
I think Alvarez should have started.
Alvarez should have started because he is a very attacking outlet. He has been overshadowed by Haaland in the Premier League, but if you look at his goal-scoring record, he is an elite attacker.
Especially for Argentina, I think he has 3 goals in like 5 appearances or something.
So that was a great match. Saudi Arabia came back in the second half and scored 2 wonderful goals. The second goal I would like to especially discuss because that was a worldie. It is an early contender for the goal of the tournament.
Yes. Maybe the keeper should have done a bit better. I think Emiliano Martinez did get a hand to it, but still, I think it was a worldie.
But it was like I guess player was even not expecting that the way he finished the game. But
the way he cut in after sort of losing the ball at one point, the way he cut in and turned back, and then the curling shot, the far end, that was brilliant. And then what about the celebration? The greatest celebration.
Favorites.
So Saudis will be enjoying their day off today.
Yeah, I've heard even they are getting Rolls Royce.
Yeah, so there is news there is a news coming out that the Saudi prince is offering Rolls Royce cars to all the players that played that match. If true, that's a great reward for a job well done.
It reminds me of when Leicester's owners gave everyone BMW after they won the league.
Yeah, but I would say that was a much bigger achievement. Moving on, France, as expected, played awesome football. Australia were good in the starting. Their build-up game was good. They hit the bar twice, and scored an early goal as well. But France, in critical situations, when you give them that breathing space, they will kill you.
France's attack is just too good, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it's too good for Australia.
And what about Giroud?
Giroud. I mean, I think Benzema's injury is a blessing in disguise for him, especially because Martial has been injured a lot this season. And Giroud has been in good form with AC Milan, so I think he got the call up and he played really well. I think he got a brace that was well deserved.
I guess Giroud was exceptional in the match.
So Giroud equaled Thierry Henry's goal tally for France, which is a huge achievement in itself. So in the Netherlands versus Senegal match, Edouard Mendy's performance was under a lot of criticism. We'll talk about that with Ahsan because he's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, Mendy is a star player, but he was not. We all know that he's not getting much chances in Chelsea. So he was making mistakes on the pitch, and that cost him the match.
That's a good point.
I think another thing to add is Cody Gakpo's performance. He's been in exceptional form for PSV this season, and he's reflected his goal-scoring form for Netherlands now as well.
Kind of emulated what Jude Bellingham did. His positioning, the run, the way he went towards the wrong side of the defender.
It was more about the cross. I think it was a
beautiful cross
it was a
by
beauty from Frankie de Jong.
It was pinpoint accurate, and what a great header.
Two potential United players right there next season.
Well, I definitely hope to see them playing in the Premier League. And what about the goal by David Klassen later on in the injury minute?
I mean, it was just to kill off the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Senegal were probably down and out by that point, and I think
I think Senegal missed a lot of their chances. Ismail Assar wasn't very clinical.
missing Sadio Mane, isn't it?
They're missing Sadio Mane, and that's basically the crux of it.
He was the second best player in the world last year, so they're definitely missing him.
Yes, and another hot topic for this tournament has been Robert Lewandowski's miss in the Poland versus Mexico match. So Guillermo Ochoa has his way of turning up in World Cup.
I mean, he only plays World Cups, I think. I've never seen him play club football. I've never seen.
That's true. That's what people say about him. Like, he comes out every 4 years, he puts out peak Casillas, peak Neuer performances, and then he goes on to, like, where did these performances, like, Robert Lewandowski wanted to open his accounts in the World Cup for Poland. He got a penalty. Dream situation, right? Yes. Misses it? But you have to give credit to Ochoa.
I think it was more about the penalty than it was about the save. I think it was a very bad penalty from Lewandowski.
Yeah.
From a player of his caliber, I think you expect more.
Yeah,
that's true. And I think Lewandowski sort of had that in the back of his mind that, you know, there was a lot of pressure because he hasn't scored for.
He was definitely
Poland.
under pressure. He was definitely under pressure, and that shows in that penalty. It was a poor penalty. Well, I must say it was a poor penalty, and all the things in his mind that he never scored for Poland, and I guess with this performance he will never go ever for Poland again.
Well, I would also go as far to say that the tactics employed by the manager weren't on point.
I mean, apart from the matches we have discussed earlier, a lot of the matches have been quite boring, haven't they?
Yeah.
There's been one team with a lot of possession and
Yes.
another team playing on the
Dominating.
counter, but still they haven't.
So the two basically entertaining matches were Saudi Arabia versus Argentina, and England versus Iran. And that's all we have for today's video. We'll see you in the next one. Please keep watching us. Please keep sending us your feedback. Like us, subscribe to our channel, comment. We would love to hear from you. Whatever you have to say about our program, just share with us, and we'll see you in the next video.